did an org health check-in to get a pulse on how is the team feeling about this year, how is the team feeling about the dynamics of the greater team and also the dynamics that are at your grade level. A couple of reasons why we did it. One, we wanted a pulse check, just to see how are we at the beginning of the year. And we wanted to do these more frequently than just twice a year to see what is the ebb and flow of org health and how we're feeling about working at this school. Two, if you've been at an airport recently, have you seen these signs as you go through the process? You actually click a button. Newark Airport is always red. But this lets you say like it was a good experience, it's a neutral experience, it's really not a great experience. We want your feedback and with specific points of progress and growth. And also like this is kind of, we had an opportunity for people to put their name and specific things that they still needed support on. So not that it's triage or an emergency room, but you are able at least to call for help if you need it. And last but not least, we do have a vision in the direction that we want to go for org health. I often use Apple Maps when I'm driving, but sometimes in really congested traffic, I pull up Waze to see if there's a better and faster way. And actually, usually there is. Waze is your best friend. And so this is org health survey was to say like, okay, we know the direction we want to go in. Are we still going in the right direction, and are we getting there the fastest way that we possibly can? These are the results from the survey last week. There are a bunch of questions on the org health survey. There are 10 specifically that the network has named as highest priority. There are 5 specifically that we are tackling at this school and really committing to go after this year. Our goal for each of these questions is 80%. The only one that is not 80% is the one that says go straight to our to the person when we have like conflict. We're setting a goal here of 50. Now we might have a reaction like, wow, that sounds extremely low. That's because this particular org health question last year was very low. So we want to set a realistic, reasonable goal that is showing traction and growth. This, ladies and gentlemen, is really, really excellent. We're meeting our goals in many different ways, and there's a lot of good positive growth, but it is exceptionally great when you compare where we were at this time last year.
70, 78.
Yeah, if you can't see, it's an 18% jump here, a lot of jump here. I don't do math well. Double here, and here's a 40% growth in terms of staff feeling positive here at the school. So this is a 1-year time frame. This is really excellent. It is not the result of one individual person. It's not the result of one individual team. It is the result of a group of people really working and trying to figure this thing out. I also think the longer we work together as a team, like truly we have like retention of our teachers. Like with any team, the longer you're together, the better you work and the more functionality you have. Here are a couple of the like overall glows that people named in the survey. One, it seems like we have like an overall sense that everyone is chipping in as many ways as we possibly can. We're collaborating. A sense of teamwork. The other like big thread that came through is either that grade teams seem to be functioning well, or that grade team meetings are more productive and useful and action-oriented than they were in years past. These are comments that are representative of like most comments, but there are many, many more that are just not listed here. Giving you like 30 seconds to read them over. By the way, there's a comment here from 9, 10, 11, and 12. For the sake of time, I'm moving, but I will forward this to you so you can look further if you want. There are a few areas of growth. How am I out of time? So I have 6 minutes left, or that is 6 minutes. Great, I'm going to be finishing early. No, I won't. All right, here are the biggest next steps. Biggest next steps, the most important one that we want to figure out is LT communication to the rest of the team. It wasn't terrible, but it is not where we want it to be. We debriefed this on Tuesday with Kevin Anderley, the leadership team. These are some of our root causes. Let's take a second to look those over. I don't want to read them to you. What do we want to do about it is super important. One, I encourage you, as often as you can, give us feedback. It is really helpful to get like percentages and numbers of how our teammates feeling, but it's even more helpful when people have specific comments about like, hey, this didn't necessarily feel great, this communication didn't work super well, this is how we think we could be receiving better communication from the team. So please keep giving us feedback whenever you can. But also here are some commitments I think we came to. Number one, we want to problem solve more quickly. So one of the things that took a long time is the merit process and the merit how they were entered in K4. They were super long, and people were like, this is really tricky. It took us a while to edit it. Even if something is taking a long time, we want to commit to messaging what progress are we making and what is the timeline that particular thing will be completed. We also want to tighten up our own personal org systems to make sure that we're communicating ahead of time, that there's not a lot of last minute things. I know today there were some folks who experienced some frustration with some last minute communication. And then last, there were some folks who had individual comments of hey, I need support here, and we want to commit to actually following up. So if the thing you named on the org health survey, you haven't had an individual follow-up yet, please flag it for me or for your coach, and we'll make sure that we get some answers to you. These are also some things that were trends. Number one, folks were we haven't prioritized diversity, equity, and inclusion. We haven't had an actual session on that yet. So a couple of quick next steps. We're having a PD on that next Friday. That is a lot of rolling out from network PDs. I'm also thinking of a couple other places where we could have D&I conversations, potentially after career day, because it's a half of a day, potentially during data day, and potentially that first day that we're back in January. We're also contemplating diversity, inclusion, diversity, equity, and inclusion, either one. And then we are also contemplating, because Irene is going to really be helping us lead the charge here, and so 2 claps on 2 for Irene, 1, 2. How can we get copies of culturally responsive teaching, or how can we get some form that we can interact with? And so we'll be getting back to you here. There were also some comments on interventions and co-teaching, and finally, there are already at the start of the year some kids that aren't working or we don't necessarily know how to help. And so again, next Friday we're going to kick off this with a PD during our all-day PD. I just did a lot of talking. Hopefully we hit how you were feeling, but if not, maybe we're missing a piece. Maybe you hit it in some places, but some of it missed the mark. Maybe you missed the mark completely. If you're feeling any one of these things, please flag for me and give more feedback so we can have a better sense of where we're going and how can we get there. But just spend the next, let's say, minute and a half on what resonates. How does this feel? Is there anything that in particular did not resonate? And talk with the folks who are sitting at your grade team. Ready, set, go.
Really excited that the talking about working here are happy working for some time. It's me feeling more of what I put out. I love that we're all feeling good about it. Yeah.